What if the G League let Carmelo Anthony play for $500,000? What if? My number one what if for this whole game is all right. What if let's say what if Jim Boeheim does not win this game? What happens then? Because here's what happens. Jim Boeheim becomes basically the greatest number 2 of all time. He is, if Coach K is Dr. Evil, he is number 2. And he is right by his side. He's never going to, he's always going to be, the belt of the ball or whatever. He's always going to be number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the zone gets banned from college basketball because you can't win with the zone. The NCAA comes in and they're just like, you know what? We don't need this. We don't need Coach K being able to run zone with a bunch of one and dones. Let's just get rid of this. Jim Boeheim bows out. He's like, I'm sorry. I tried. I thought the zone would work, but obviously you can't win the big one with the zone. It's over. It was a good run. So RIP the zone. So that's one of the what ifs. So they lose this game.
If Boeheim loses this, so Boeheim winning this, he gets a little taste of success. He thought that the only thing he ever wanted in his life was to win one national title. But then he gets it and he realizes the real thing he wants more than anything is to win more games than Coach K. So now that's why he's still hanging on coaching. Maybe if he doesn't win this, weirdly enough, he retires earlier. He just gives up on the national title dream and he just retires without a national title. Because now he's going to die on the bench. Now he's like, I gotta win more than K. K's thinking the same thing, and both those guys are going to coach each other 300 years old.
Yes. Yes. That's a great what if.
Do you think he'd be likable? Do you think Boeheim would? Because like people don't really love Boeheim because he's just a curmudgeon and we've been over why.
Yeah.
Boeheim's not the most likable guy in the world.
We love Boeheim.
I love Boeheim. Boeheim's like the most human college basketball coach that's ever lived. Like he's just like he'll straight up tell you when he's nervous. He'll tell you what he's thinking at all times. He coaches exactly how I would coach, which is just like he still to this day is bitter.
Run his zone. Just run his zone.
No, I mean like he's still bitter about the Keith Smart shot. Like a lot of college basketball coaches are robots that just take the next play mentality. But Jim Boeheim's a human being like I am, where he's like, yeah, dude, I'm pissed off that he made that shot. Like I thought I had a title. That's bullshit. I should have won. I'm bitter about it. Screw that guy. Like he still has that attitude. Do you think he'd be more likable if he never won a title? People would be rooting for him every single year. That like now he's in the twilight of his career. That they're like, come on, Jim, we're all rooting for you. We want you to get your one. I think so too.
But he would hate it. And I'll tell you why, because like they would treat him like a baby or a chihuahua or like, some little, like, it's like, oh, it's so cute. We hope he has we hope he can make a run this year. And honestly, they kind of do it with Bob Huggins sometimes. Like you kind of become like a little like cute character in the world of college basketball, as opposed to like a real guy who is a winning coach. Yeah. No,
you don't want pity. Yeah. It's a fine line. You want people to root for you, but you don't want the pity. I think at this point, 45 years in on the job, if he hasn't won a title yet, people are just going to be pitying him and just be like, you poor thing.
When you mentioned earlier that Jim Boeheim had already been at Syracuse for 27 years during this game, I just thought about the fact that I'm 27. You know what I mean? It's like that guy had spent my entire lifetime at Syracuse.
Yeah.
And
that was this game was 17 years ago.
Yeah.
And high def hadn't even been invented yet.
Exactly.
All right, my big what if for this game is what if Wayne Simien is healthy? I think from a stylistic standpoint, it doesn't change much because he's not hitting threes. Like as we've kind of hammered that home that Kansas had to make shots. They did not make shots, and that's what ultimately cost them the win. Wayne Simien was not going to go out there and hit threes for them. What he was going to do though is maybe he gives them another body to throw at Carmelo. And maybe that helps with Langford's foul trouble. Maybe it helps with Collison's foul trouble. It certainly, I think, would have helped with Collison's fatigue issues that he had late in the game, where he was fouling a little more because he was tired and he was missing free throws and all of that. So I don't know where I fall on this. Like, I don't think Wayne Simien wins the game for Kansas, but I think it definitely helps their chances. I think Syracuse was just so – like, Wayne Simien's not going to guard Jerry McNamara. Wayne Simien's not going to hit threes himself. Wayne Simien's not going to, go 10 for 10 from the free throw line. So ultimately, I think the problems that harm Kansas, I don't think Wayne Simien directly solves them, but he definitely helps out because he can kind of like take a little bit of the load off Langford. Maybe Langford doesn't foul out. Maybe Langford can give him some more points. It's more of a trickle effect. And when you start doing that, you kind of lose me with the what ifs. So I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I like my what ifs of like, you change that one thing, it fundamentally changes everything. With the Simeon thing, I think you change that, then it has to change something else, which changes something else, which changes something else. And at that point, who cares?
So let's just do my what if that fundamentally changes everything, because we see it. It's already changed college basketball. In fact, it's already into college basketball. What if the G League let Carmelo Anthony play for $500,000? What if?
I would say Syracuse would have lost this game. I think.
What if?
I think Syracuse would have lost. My other what if would be, what if Langford doesn't foul out? I mean, I already kind of touched on that, because you go back and look at that play. Billy Edelin absolutely flops on this. Edelin's driving to the basket. Langford's guarding him. Kind of trips over his own feet. It's the 5th foul on Langford. He can't believe it. He gets sent to the bench. His season's over. At that point, he'd scored 19 points for Kansas. I think that call, I don't think it really matters. I forget what the score was at that point. I think they were down like 8, still 6 maybe. I still think Syracuse wins, but that one is more intriguing to me than Simeon playing, because I think Langford, I think if Langford's not in foul trouble, I think if Langford doesn't get called for that foul, it's a much more interesting into the game. But I still think Syracuse wins. That's what I still just keep coming back to that. Like, I don't think any of these things are really that drastic.
Yeah, my last what if that I have is, what if Kansas wins this game? What if Roy Williams and Kansas, they win this national championship? And what's the ripple effect? Because here's what I think happens. I think that Roy Williams decides to stay in Lawrence, Kansas. I think they win that game. I think that he catches feelings. I think he finally reaches the mountaintop. He almost feels like he doesn't have to go to North Carolina to get that validation from, that experience in his life, because he was able to reach it at Kansas. And I think if that were to happen, that would be insane, because North Carolina's head coach right now would probably be Bill Self. And which would be even more insane.
Yeah, that's interesting. If he went, I certainly think if Kansas wins and Roy leaves for Carolina, Kansas fans don't hate him, and there's no.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't think he could leave.
Yeah, if Roy wins, I don't think so either. I don't know. That is fascinating. Maybe he stays. Maybe because is it something where it's like, I got the one thing I wanted, now I can leave and be happy and not have to think about it? Or is it like, the whole reason he went to Carolina is because he thought to himself, I can't win a national title at Kansas. I just can't do it. Like, whatever it is, I'm cursed. I can't do it here. I need a fresh start. And that's why I went to Carolina. I don't know. Yeah. That's an interesting thought. The only other what if I had is, what if Kansas made shots?
Wow. Send that to Kirk Heinrich.
You got to make shots to win at this level, Kansas. You did not make shots. You're the losers. That's pretty much it. All right, let's go over our list of things that were invented. Let's remind the people what was invented in college basketball in this game. We already kind of started the first one. Carmelo with the superstar treatment.
Yep. Superstar treatment with the refs. Carmelo invents that.
Obviously, Carmelo invented the one and done model. This is the. I love that Carmelo was not during the one and done era, which is because anytime people talk about one and dones, you still have to mention Carmelo, and there's always the caveat. People can't just say like one and done, such as Greg Oden, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, and Carmelo. Like, you always have to include those guys, and then say in parentheses also Carmelo Anthony, who was not part of one and done era, but kind of started the trend anyway. It's weird. We'll explain it later. He kind of muddied the waters on the whole thing, but Carmelo invented the one and done. Whether it doesn't matter whether the rule is in place or not. The way everyone will remember it is that Carmelo Anthony was the first ever guy to be one and done in college basketball.
Yes, 100%. Roy Williams invented the breakup, and Roy Williams invented the blue blood breakup, which is basically like, I can jump from blue blood to blue blood, and I can get away with it, and no one's really gonna care that much. Obviously, the only people that really care are the media that rank the coaches. That's the only people that are upset with Roy Williams.
He invented the oversell of when you leave one school, just like oversell how much you're torn up about it. And on your way out the door.
Yeah, just the breakup. The breakup. It was the best. It was me. It wasn't you guys. It was me. That's what it is.
I had Jerry McNamara invented the unconscious range. He invented the just absurd shoot from anywhere on the floor range that was mimicked by JJ Redick immediately after, kind of overlapped. Their careers actually overlapped. JJ Redick then copied him, even though is Redick older than him actually? Are they the same age?
I think they're the same age. Yeah, they're both freshmen. Yeah,
they were both freshmen. They're the same age, but McNamara invented it. McNamara invented just like, I'm gunning from anywhere. I got the hot hand. And then Morrison, Reddick, Jimmer, Steph, Trey Young, all these guys. It was invented by Jerry McNamara. He was the first great shooter in college basketball history.
Yeah, exactly. He was the original. Love that. Next up, we have to mention, this is not an invention, but this is just something that you pointed out. JJ Redick went 2 for 16 in the Sweet 16. And for all the people that want to talk about Kirk Heinrich, Kirk Heinrich went 1 for 9, sure, but JJ Redick went 2 for 16. That sounds a lot worse to me. But yeah, back to inventions.
Boeheim invented the zone defense. I actually looked this up. Here are the 3 teams that won playing zone. So Michigan State played zone in 79 and when they won the title because Magic Johnson couldn't guard anybody. So they would hide Magic's deficiencies playing zone. Villanova, of course, in 85 played zone against Georgetown because they had no answer for Patrick Ewing.
Yes.
So they play and they play the perfect game, the Villanova perfect game in 85. And then UNLV, of course, played the Amoeba with Tarkanian in 1990. Those were the 3 teams. It doesn't matter. We don't care.
Doesn't matter. No,
Throw those out.
Boeheim. Yep.
As far as we're concerned, zone defense was invented in 2003. Jim Boeheim started the zone defense in 2003. So Jim Boeheim invented zone. He invented the idea of zone defense winning national titles in 2003.
I love that. And it held up. You know what I mean? It's still to this day. People are like, man, 2003. That's when zone defense worked.
Can I say Queth Dewaney? We haven't even really shouted out Queth Dewaney, the lone senior on the Syracuse team.
Amazing name.
He's a Hoosier as well. Bloomington North High School, same high school as Jared Jeffries, same high school as Sean May. Queth Dewaney invented the idea of, like, he was the captain of the team. He invented the idea of clearly not being the best player on the team, but like somebody arguing that he's the most important player on the team, even though anyone with – you only need 2 eyeballs. You could have one functioning eye. You could be Dick Vitale with 1 eyeball in the brain. You could tell that Queth Dewaney's not even close to the best player. I'm sure at some point in 03, someone was like, listen, I understand Carmelo's the best. I understand Jerry gives us a lot of shooting. But I just think from an intangible standpoint, especially like take your mind back to 03, Tate, when you got this team full of freshmen. I guarantee there were people like, I just think Queth, being the senior captain, keeps these guys together. I think the intangibles, I think his defense, I think the way he mixes it up with these guys and just keeps them all focused. I think you can make an argument that Queth is the most important. So I'm going to say Queth Dewaney invented the idea of
most important player.
Being the most important player, even though you're not even close to the most talented player.
Okay, there you go.
Shout out
Lock it in. Yeah, the most important player on a national championship team. Not the most valuable, but the most important.
For the best access, perspective, and personalities in all of sports, follow us at Fox Sports on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.